Welcome to an all new episode of Entrepreneur Conversation Series on EntreJourn, a platform for all the entrepreneurs out there looking for a community to share the journey's highs and lows. EntreJourn encourages entrepreneurs to talk about their mental health, struggle, resilience, and help each other learn and grow from them. Today we have with us Stuti Ashok Gupta. Stuti is the principal brand and vision at AMRUTAM, an Ayurvedic lifestyle and brand wellness community. Along with building a global online community through AMRUTAM, she is also a part time mental health professional with a master's degree in clinical psychology, practicing independently. Stuti co founded the Lost Tribe Hostels in 2016 and also published a book, namely Sublimation, a collection of poems in 2015. Stuti has been working full time at AMRUTAM since 2017. Welcome, Stuti. Thank you for joining us today to talk about mental health and the associated stigmas around it.
Thank you for having me. I think it's a great initiative that you guys have picked up to talk about mental health, especially for entrepreneurs.
Can you share your journey in brief with us and why did you choose entrepreneurship as your career?
Okay, so I have done my psychology honors from Christ University, Bangalore, and I went and did my master's in clinical psychology from this. And during the time when I was in my master's degree, I traveled quite a lot, almost 40 trips in 2 years, and that's when I decided that I wanted to do something around travel and community, especially therapeutic community, because it's one of the segments in mental health. So I planned to start a backpacker hostel in Manali, and then we also started in Goa. And around that time is when, I mean, it wasn't really to, you don't know you're signing up for entrepreneurship, right? Like it just happens to you. You have an idea, you start working on it, and the words come in later. So that's what happened with me as well. And after starting the Lost Tribe, I decided that I wanted to start my family business, because there was a bit of a financial setback at home, and I both my brother and we came back home to Gwalior, and we started working on Amrutam, and since then it's been a ride. We've been working on Amrutam since past, I think it's going to be 5 years in April this year. So yeah, I mean, I didn't ever think of being an entrepreneur, but at the same time, I think because I was always growing around people who were working for themselves, I could not relate to the whole idea of doing a job. I mean, I always pictured myself doing something where I am my own boss, but I think things have fallen, like unfolded themselves. Like it's been something that an opportunity came and I picked up, and from there another opportunity and I picked that up. So yeah, that's how I am here.
That's amazing to hear. So, why is mental health important for you, and more so when one is an entrepreneur? Anything in your life that you think will encourage us to take mental health as a priority?
Sure. So, I mean, of course, because I have studied mental health for 7 years, and then I have been practicing independently as well. Mental health, from a professional viewpoint, it is definitely something that I'm very passionate about. But as an entrepreneur, I think mental health becomes even more important, because you are creating things out of your head, like your ideas is generating from your mind, and that's your biggest currency, your biggest resource. And if you are not feeling well mentally, emotionally, um, it becomes very difficult for you to sustain yourself in difficult situations. And I mean, there are so many obstacles when you have your own business or your own startup or an initiative or a project where you are accountable for yourself, that the pressure factors increase. And it becomes crucial that you keep your mind, your mental health in check, especially then for all entrepreneurs, because the journey is lonely. You are by yourself essentially, and how can you not let that affect you and your work and your relationships and your daily functioning. I think that's the reason I feel it's very important to look at it.
You seem to be a serial entrepreneur following an adventurous journey. Have there been times in your entrepreneurial journey where you felt exhausted, anxious, withdrawn due to the nature of your work? Some real life struggle that you would like to share with us?
Okay. So, I mean, firstly, I think we all go through all the things you mentioned, the stress, the anxiety, and burning out. And, it's, I mean, regardless of you being an entrepreneur or not, I feel that we all go through some or the other mental health. Um, how do I say it? Like, it's not an illness, it's not a disorder, but just the way, you feel like physically tired or physically burnout, you can experience a mental tiredness or mental burnout too. But at the same time, I feel like in my case, the apart from the whole regular thing that I think happens with most of us, I've also gone through clinical depression. When I started my backpacker hostel, I was living in the mountains, and I mean, I think my life was pretty like out of the books, perfect. But at the same time, after living there, and I started to develop symptoms like I would have low mood in the evenings, and I would just abruptly cry, and I wouldn't even know, and that is part of the illness. I mean, the biggest myth that people have is that there needs to be something wrong in your life for you to go through depression or any mental and health condition. But it's not like that. It's like, how you break your if you break your bone or if you break your spine, you wouldn't want to associate it with XYZ factor. It's done, and then you see how you want to deal with it. And that's how I went about it. I moved out of the mountains. I moved to Bangalore, and I started my own personal therapy. Uh, of course, because I had the awareness, being part of the fraternity. I mean, as mental health professional, I knew that there was something that I needed professional help for, and I think personal therapy really helped me understand what I was going through and how, living in the mountains was actually a cause, a factor for me, because, a lot of people, like a huge percentage of people, go through seasonal affective disorder, which is like your mood getting affected because of winters or because of certain weather conditions, or, uh, what time of the year it is, and everything affects your mood. But that's not that popular, and I mean, we are still struggling with the whole stigma, so this goes even a lot more in detail. So I went through that, and another factor was that I was still struggling for, my support system. I felt, I mean, loneliness is also a symptom of depression, but it just adds on when you're actually feeling lonely being an entrepreneur, when you're struggling with trying to prove yourself to your friends and your family, and how you want to do certain thing in your life, and you haven't still cracked it, like they still don't approve of it yet, and all of those factors combined. um, Obviously, things have improved, and I am completely fine now. But I think one of the biggest reasons why I talk about seeking help when it comes to mental health is because I know how much it helped me. And it's not the only way. It's not like you can only help yourself through therapy. There are several other ways too. But I think uh, the way we are so open to going to, visiting a doctor or taking medicines for our physical health conditions, we should be able to, openly talk about our mental health issues as well, and then of course seek help, seek right treatment, instead of struggling with it, and just getting more and more into the dark pit. So yeah.
तो कभी कभार ऐसा होता है दैट प्रोफेशनल स्ट्रेस जो आपका वर्क प्लेस पे स्ट्रेस होता है अ बैड डे एट वर्क वो कभी कभार जब आप घर आते हैं इट सीप्स इनटू योर पर्सनल लाइफ एंड इट इवेंचुअली इफेक्ट्स योर रिलेशनशिप विद योर फैमिली फ्रेंड्स और इवन योर एम्प्लॉयज सो
Right.
had it happened to you?
ओके, सो आई थिंक ऑब्वियसली आपकी जो जिंदगी है उसमें जो बाकी लोग हैं, अगर आप अच्छे से रह रहे हैं, आपको अच्छा लग रहा है, आप खुश हो, तो आपके आसपास वाले लोगों को वो महसूस होती है वो खुशी, और एंड देन दे आल्सो फील गुड अबाउट इट। बट अगर आप बहुत स्ट्रेस में हो, आपके कॉन्स्टेंटली दिमाग में एक एक ना एक कोई चीज चल रही है, या एंड आई थिंक स्पेशली एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, लाइक कुछ ऐसा वो नहीं होता है, एक ब्रेक नहीं होता है। अगर आप एक चीज के बारे में सोच रहे हो, तो वो टिल द टाइम यू स्लीप एंड व्हेन यू वेक अप, वो सेम थॉट चल रहा होता है कि अरे ये करना है, ये नहीं हो रहा है, और समवन हैजंट रिस्पोंडेड टू यू एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट। सो इट्स वेरी इजी फॉर यू टू आइदर विदड्रॉ, आप एकदम मतलब डिस्कनेक्टेड फील करने लगते हो आसपास वाले लोगों के साथ में, कि आप सुन नहीं रहे हो वो क्या बोल रहे हैं, या आप इंटरेस्टेड नहीं हो, या आप जोन्ड आउट हो। एक तो वो हो सकता है जहाँ पे आप भी आइसोलेट फील कर रहे हो, और शायद आपके फ्रेंड्स, फैमिली और इवन एम्प्लॉयज आइसोलेटेड फील कर रहे हैं, बिकॉज दे आर नॉट बीइंग हर्ड। At the same time, you can even snap and get angry and react, बिकॉज आपके अंदर वो मेंटल कैपेसिटी ही नहीं है चीज़ों को डील करने के लिए, क्योंकि आप ऑलरेडी इतना अपने दिमाग में चीज़ों से डील कर रहे हो। तो डेफिनेटली वो तो मतलब आई थिंक at any given time, especially with people who are on their own as entrepreneurs, go through that. There's actually a study that says that entrepreneurs are more likely to develop mental health conditions because um, एक पॉइंट के बाद उनके लिए सोशल सपोर्ट सिस्टम वो खत्म हो जाता है, क्योंकि उन्होंने ही उसको नर्चर नहीं किया है, क्योंकि वो खुद इतने कंज्यूम्ड है अपने काम में। एंड I think I've been there, but then I'm not anymore. I try my best to have that work-life balance now, in terms of कि हाँ मतलब मुझे पता है कि हाँ अगर ये समय मैं अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ हूँ, तो एक कॉन्शियस चॉइस है कि नहीं मुझे अभी ईमेल नहीं देखना है, या unless it's like something that really needs my attention, I would avoid it. I'm still learning. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I'm still learning. एंड आई थिंक वो लाइन ड्रॉ करना भी बहुत मुश्किल है, अगर आप उसको अवेयरनेस में नहीं रख रहे हो, तो इट्स वेरी इजी टू फॉलो इनटू द सेम पैटर्न्स।
What are some of your self-care routines which you follow to maintain your mental health?
Um, so I do a lot of things. I firstly I think मतलब अगर मुझे अपने दिन की शुरुआत से बात करनी है, तो मेरे लिए कुछ समय spending time with my body, be it doing yoga or any form of exercise. Like I am a trained Kathak dancer, so I love dancing. I would pick up any dance workout or any HIIT or yoga or anything basically that I have to show up on my mat. And I feel like again we cannot distinguish the physical and mental wellness as two separate things. They're same, they are two sides of the same coin. And if you're feeling better physically, automatically you start feeling better mentally, and vice versa. So first thing that I try my best to do is engage in any physical activity, and not because I have like a goal that okay I want this kind of a body, or I want to lose weight, or nothing of that sort. It's just I want to feel good, like today I have to take 15 minutes, I'll do it for 15 minutes. Sometimes I have 40 minutes, I do it for 40 minutes. And there are so many resources available completely for free on YouTube, that all those excuses of oh I want to sign up for a gym membership, or all of that comes in later when you feel like yeah you can really commit. But apart from that, I feel like just engaging with your body, like getting your body to do something without really having an outcome or an output in mind, helps. But apart from that, I feel like for me that me time, spending time with myself, just whatever it is, like reading a book or painting, or uh, even singing or anything, like just engaging in any art form again. Because like we are constantly especially as entrepreneurs, you're constantly doing things to get an outcome. Okay, ये मैंने किया है तो इसका क्या result है, or there's a goal setting and an expectation. So really spending some time in your day, integrating that as in your lifestyle rather than कि हाँ मतलब एक महीना therapy ले ली just because I'm going through something. But anything that you pick up, making it sustainably, part of your life becomes important. It can be anything. Like I love traveling, so for me it's important that I change my structure and the space I am in. So I go to places for a month, and stay there and work from there, learn something new. So all of these things are, I think, are my ways of taking care of myself. Plus, I think the most crucial part for anyone would be to have the awareness, that don't wait for something to build up, and then you say that, okay, I'm going to seek help. Just see how you're feeling on a regular basis, and just keeping in touch with that helps me, and I mean whoever is listening, it can help you as well.
That leads to my next question. Do you have any advice or tip that you would like to give all those upcoming or established entrepreneurs out there to maintain their work-life balance, protect their mental health, and build up their mental strength?
Yeah, so I actually gave a bit of a thought to this question. I think people, entrepreneurs have this imaginary deadline for themselves. Like I have to achieve this by this time, and have XYZ revenue by this month, or hire this person by this. So it's like this timeline, this imaginary deadline that we tend to put on ourselves, which makes things so straining on our heads, because we wait to feel happy after a goal is achieved, but we keep putting more and more and more challenging goals one after another, and it's like we're postponing our happiness, we're postponing the time when we are going to feel content. uh, and if you just loosen that up like a bit, it's okay to have goals, but instead on focusing too much on the goal, if we start focusing on the process and enjoying the process itself, uh, it doesn't have this imaginary and unnecessary burden that we put on ourselves, and then define our worth because of that, that I'm only good enough because I'm able to achieve this. Instead look at, okay, what I can do today, and okay, I can only work for 4 hours today, or I can work 16 hours today. Anything, allowing yourself to vary depending on how much energy you have when you wake up on that particular day, uh, is a sustainable way of taking care, and taking care of yourself, both mind and body, and also increasing your mental strength, because I think at the core of things it's all about self awareness. There is no hack, there is no shortcut, there is no, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be so strong mentally. There is nothing like that. You have to make an effort to feel good, to maintain good relationships with both your at home, with your friends, and at your workplace. And it's those little steps that count way more than the bigger steps that you take. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you for your time, Stuti. We are extremely grateful to you, and we hope this interview would help our audience in understanding their struggle and the importance of mental health and encourage them to open up and talk about it.
I thank you so much. I hope things that I've shared can be useful for whoever listens to it.
With this, we have come to an end to this episode. Do like, share, and hit the subscribe button down below for further updates.